Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Boozer with CUGC HQ. Welcome to today's webinar with Liquidware. We're always so glad to have Liquidware back on our webinar stage. They've been one of our longest supporters since the beginning, so always happy to have Liquidware with us. Today, they're going to be showing us a new product. I know you're probably all excited to see it, so I'm not going to take up too much time with this beginning stuff. So first of all, just want to remind you that we are recording today's presentation, and you'll get a link to that recording tomorrow. It's going to come to you in an email from GoToWebinar, so be on the lookout for that. Also, we want you to submit your questions in the chat as often as you have them. We'll get to as many questions as we can today, but do put those in so you don't forget them, and we'll get to those throughout. All right, so let me introduce our speaker today is Jason Mattox. He's the Chief Technical Officer at Liquidware. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Stephanie, happy to be here.
And also with us, we have Arnaud Payne. He is the CTP. He is one of the leaders of our Tampa CUGC group. Hello, Arnaud.
Hi, Stephanie. Good afternoon.
All right, I am going to hand things right over to Jason. Let me send you the screen. Hold on, here it comes. And then I'm gonna disappear. I'll come back at the end.
Sounds good. Let me just do some adjustments here. We're going to go ahead and talk about our new solution we're going to be launching here in beta form and then GA shortly after. We'll go through a couple slides first. 1 second. All right. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody today about CommandCTRL, newest solution from Liquidware. This solution is going to be launched in beta form Wednesday next week. So there should be a link somewhere within the presentation that's being sent out. Also, if you go to liquidware.com, you can sign up for a beta of the solution. This product was born out of a lot of feature requests over the past couple of years, and I think it lends itself really well from the work from home standpoint, as we have a hybrid workforce today out there in the world. So let's go ahead and get into the slideware. What is CommandCTRL? It is our first SaaS solution. Currently Stratosphere UX and Profile Unity and FlexApp are really built for on-prem solutions. This is our first SaaS solution. It is a SaaS-based Helpdesk remediation solution for your Windows desktop anywhere it's located in the world. Whether it's virtual, physical, XenApp, multi-user, single-user, VDI, a laptop in the field. If it's Windows, it's supported today. I will say there will be Mac and Linux support in the future for this solution as you think about what it's able to do for you. So some of the features that we've added, based on remediation and helpdesk orientated product, is we've added a lot of things, and some of these requests came from our Stratosphere customers as well. Stratosphere, and we'll talk about the contrast and compare a little bit with that product, but real-time metrics was a really big ask, and real-time is hard to do at scale. And we look at real-time metrics, we're collecting the task manager style view of metrics every 3 seconds. So if you get a call from an end user and you're trying to look at that machine remotely through a web browser, we're able to look at CPU, memory, disk, Wi-Fi stats, all kinds of things that we can look at every 3 seconds. And we can take remediation. We have alarms, actions, and triggers. I can start and stop services. I can do a bunch of things to remediate. I can terminate processes. I can reboot, log off. There's a lot of things I can do within the remediation side of the product to help alleviate the user's tension and frustration with their Windows machine. Diagnostics, a lot of things you're doing with users, especially at home. The home network has become an extension of the enterprise network, whether we like it or not. Prior to the pandemic, maybe 10% of the workforce worked from home. Now 90% went home, and now we're doing a hybrid where a lot of companies are going half and half. So ISP, Wi-Fi at home is now become an extension of IT. And so how do we support that? We can do a speed test, we can do a ping, whether the person is at home or they're at Starbucks or they're at a hotel. We can do performance testing on the network connection of that device in the field. so we can really troubleshoot that network connection. Role-based access is built from the ground up. Everything that you see in the product or hear me talk about can be disabled or limited in some fashion from a role-based access. Some of the things I'm going to talk about are very powerful. You may want to take those away from a level 1 help desk person and only provide that for level 3 VDI team or infrastructure team. It is modeled off of Task Manager for a reason. It's Task Manager plus or Task Manager on steroids. But when you think about Task Manager, everybody understands basic Task Manager. So how could we webify Task Manager is what we've kind of done here. Built-in remote assistance, we have a couple different options here for a few different reasons. We've built in a teleconference feature, just like GoToMeeting. There's a built-in teleconference feature where you can have somebody join a teleconference call almost automatically. We will automatically open the web browser and drop them in a meeting. So you can have a two-way audio chat conversation, and they can share their screen so you can see what's ailing them. We have Remote Assist, which is the built-in Windows. It's been around for a long time. The administrator has to be on the same routable network as the machine that you're trying to remote assist with. Teleconference doesn't. Teleconference can be anywhere. Teleconference works on a server OS, works on multi-user OS, works on anything. The administrator could even be on a Mac machine for the teleconference feature on the admin side. The end user is still Windows. Quick Assist is built into Windows 10 multi-user, not available on server OS. Quick Assist uses your Microsoft account to leverage it, and we automatically open Quick Assist. We automate all the steps needed to get the user to the screen. Just read a code to the admin, or they have the admin read a code to the end user. All three of these functions from the end user perspective are automated. Sometimes half the battle is if I can't do it in the web interface and I need to take control of the user screen as a last resort, sometimes half the battle is getting the remote assistance software open and getting them in it. Or upgraded. All that's managed for you here in the solution. We have a DVR like playback. So when you look at real-time metrics, when you initiate a real-time call to a machine, you click on a machine, you search for the user, your 3-second callback, real-time in the interface. With the DVR, it's actually a 10-second collection, 5-minute callback. So history starts within 5 minutes of installing the agent. Now, what's interesting about this is we have these thresholds that we highlight data real time as it violates a threshold. We also highlight it in the DVR, and I'll show you that in the demo as well, and how cool that is to see in a YouTube style timeline view. It's multi-tenant, it's SaaS solution. What's also neat about this is partners and resellers can be invited to multiple tenants, and they can assist customers in multiple tenants, and I'll show that too as well. Command prompt. We actually have a remote PowerShell command prompt. And what's neat about webifying the PowerShell command prompt in the solution is we are not modifying the security posture. We're not using PowerShell remoting. We're not doing any of those things that change the way the machine behaves security-wise. Is we've used our agent and our technology to make PowerShell work over the internet to a web browser. Again, an administrator could be on a Mac doing PowerShell commands to a remote end user machine or server. The dashboard view is nice because it's the same exact view you get when you're looking at real time and when you're looking at DVR. It's more of a widget-based view than a spreadsheet of data view. We have some login detail that's showing you some of the login duration and timelines. And then we have a script store that's available as well, that we published approved Liquidware scripts to the store that you can push out through a scripting. I could apply a script to one machine, or I could apply it to 1,000 machines to initiate change. So where did we kind of start with monitoring to kind of cover, this is where we talk about contrast and compare to Stratosphere. We started in 2009 to 2012, we're doing a lot of assessments. How do I get to VDI? What does my workload look like? Is it the right workload for VDI or multi-user desktops or XenApp type environment? User experience monitoring. Then we start looking at, okay, how can we ensure the user experience over time? And that's what we started doing in 2013 and 2020. Now we're going to digital experience monitoring, which includes remediation, digital experience type questions between the two solutions of Stratosphere and Command Control. So we look at, on the bottom left, this is Command Control, its interface. On the top right, this is a new interface that really has not been shown publicly for Stratosphere. That's what's coming out in its beta form as well here next month, and also will ship in Q1 of a screen for Stratosphere. We're upgrading that user interface, and we're starting to model a lot of the interfaces after command control and unify the UI approach for all of our products. So kind of talking about the two solutions, Stratosphere is good for multi-platform. It's working on Mac, it's working on Linux, works on almost every zero client you can think of in thin clients. It has very broad, deep telemetry data. It's really good at that data warehousing, that forensics type of data, looking at really large amounts of data at scale and hundreds of metrics and pivot tables of looking at data, and also has some process optimization. When we look at command control and how they work together and they cooperate, we're looking at real time right now, every 3 seconds. Real-time remediation, let's take action against what we see. And then we've also got scripting and DVR playback within the solutions too, and then real-time diagnostics and troubleshooting within the solution. So they really go hand in hand, where you've got Stratosphere, which is that data warehousing, forensic type deep analytics, and then you've got the real-time remediation and actions that you can take against what you're seeing. So we support all Windows workspaces, like I said, regardless if it's physical, virtual, or cloud. There is literally just an agent to install. That's all you've got to do to get connected to a tenant. I mean, obviously you sign up for a trial, you get your own tenant, and you install the agent, you're connected to that tenant. It's really easy to go through the interface and learn it, because if you understand Task Manager, you understand the product almost to immediately once you start using it. We can toggle between views, whether it's a virtual machine or endpoint. It's kind of interesting, because as I looked at the solution, I realized that some machines at home may not be a corporate login. Whether or not you can install the agent on a home user's machine is a different problem, but a lot of times the endpoint, the physical endpoint, may be Mattox family PC for my family PC, and then I log into a corporate desktop that's using a corporate username. How can I connect the two? We actually do connect the two, and I'll show you that, and we can jump between the two very easily and very quickly for troubleshooting purposes to know, well, it's home Wi-Fi, it's home latency, it's not the infrastructure hosting the desktop in the data center or the cloud. We have scripts that you can tailor to your environment to solve issues or remediate. You can also assign permissions to the scripts, only execute certain scripts for certain level 1 individuals. We have security scripts you could run as well in the interface that'll be available, and we have action alerts and triggers, so we can really take action and remediate end user issues. Some of the metrics, I mentioned a few of them. We have CPU, memory, Wi-Fi stats, users and machines and services, your ISP, your location. So if somebody's at Starbucks, we would see that, hey, there's an AT&T potentially connection. They're at Starbucks. The performance is pretty slow. I could do a speed test on it and see. I could also see where they're located. I saw one of our employees were using ours in production. I saw an employee at Marriott, and their performance on the latency on the Wi-Fi was just horrendous. So if they would have called the help desk, that would have been the first thing to say, get off the Marriott Wi-Fi and get onto your hotspot on your phone. GPU, and we have all network connections are shown as well. In some of the tools, we've got scripts, shells, alarms, triggers, and actions in the product. So let's go ahead and jump into the product. Just gonna move some of these boxes down here. You can't see them on your side, but I can on mine. Okay, so this is my laptop here. I've got a mobile lab, so it doesn't show a lot of contention. We'll switch over to a contention-based machine pretty quickly here. But this is a very basic view of what you would think you would see in Task Manager. We just organize it a little differently and show it on the screen. Left-hand side, I've got a computer name. It's a random computer name. It was drop shipped to me from our IT department as we work from home. It's not domain joined. It's Azure Active Directory joined. So I don't see a domain name. And I've got the basic CPU, Windows version, and BIOS version. So if users have any issues, I might look and see the BIOS is old. It should be updated and refreshed on that machine. If that user is really stuck from a remediation standpoint, I could shut down or restart their computer from here. If they're completely locked up, but our agent is reporting back and it's connected green up here in the top right, I can actually restart the computer for them if they can't. That way they don't got to hard power it off. So I can do that. I can also see location. I'm on a VPN connection. That's why I show Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually in Chicago, and I'm routing everything through our VPN. That's why it shows a different geolocation. External IP, IPv6 is very prevalent. It's an AT&T circuit out there as where I'm connected to. I could see my user or multiple users if it was a multi-user environment. I'll show you that too. I can see the basic environment variables for this machine, just some extra bit of information as you're troubleshooting. And then I can actually log this user off, or I actually could take control. Those 3 different options that I showed earlier about teleconference, remote access, and quick assist. Now, when I get down to processes consuming resources, if you notice, I've got top consumers for CPU, top memory, top disk, and you see a few of these services are pulling a little bit of disk writes, and then you see GoToMeeting as we're talking, sharing video, sharing my screen, it's pulling quite a bit networking here. If I scroll down, I get a few more metrics as well. I've got a couple different NVMEs in this laptop. I can see that. I can see there's a primary one that's actually doing most of the work. The other ones are secondary drives. I've got a C drive here. I can see that this user is connected to a VPN. Latency is okay, 45 milliseconds. That's Chicago to Atlanta. So speed of light, can't fix that problem, not yet anyways. And so you can see that connection. I can also see from a home perspective, and there's a spike of CPU there. So overall, I'm using a little bit too much CPU in that instance, in that collection cycle. I look at my Wi-Fi stats here in the bottom, and I can also turn anything off in these graphs off. I can turn any metric off I don't want to see. So I could turn off the graph to make it a little easier to see. And I can see that I'm getting pretty good performance. I'm 81% signal strength, latency isn't too high. I might see signal strength be low, latency up. And it might be a situation where I'm located in my house too far away from my home Wi-Fi equipment. And you might tell the end user to move closer in that scenario. I can see the security, I can see the protocol, I can see if it's 2.4 or 5G. I might say, hey, you're on 5G, you're better off on 2.4, see if you can get somebody to help you switch that around. Maybe you can call Comcast and force a 2.4 connection, or we can change the adapter. We're showing GPU, using a little bit of GPU on this card, not a lot. I know when my son plays Roblox and I monitor his computer from this environment, he just trashes the GPU, trashes the CPU, memory, the whole machine is just consumed. It's great to see. I use it to troubleshoot my kid's computer, so it's kind of nice all the time, remotely as well. Battery status, again, we can turn this graph off if we want to see a little bit better. We can see that it's currently charged, and we'll record this in history as well if the user had a problem, or if their charge rate is just dropping, you can watch it play back. So then we go to the top here, and at the top is where we get our remote PowerShell to this laptop that I'm on. And you get all the same traditional commands and tabs and things to connect. So we'll get our command prompt. I could do directory, I could switch to CMD, go to the C drive. I could do a git and get plug and play device, physical device. I can go backwards. You get all kinds of usual PowerShell command prompt type things that you would do on this machine. And let's do a git plug and play device. That'll do a listing of all the plug and play devices. So anything you do, I could switch to a CMD prompt as well and do the traditional directories. So very powerful just to jump in, run some commands, potentially remediate, query some information, and I don't have to take control of the user's screen. They don't have to worry about closing down confidential applications that have maybe financial or healthcare things on their screen. I can do all this remotely without modifying my security posture to that machine. I'm pretty excited about how this is. And this mostly all works on Linux and Mac already. It's just a matter of getting it productized and released out there. It works with Shell, Bash already. So we're pretty excited about how extensible this framework is that we've built to deliver. If we look at, before I go in the DVR, we'll look at a different machine. I want to switch over to this machine here. This is actually a XenApp server. And so this is where you would see your multiple users logged in, if they're disconnected or not. You could see all the different things. I can also see the machines they're coming from. I mentioned earlier, we can jump from a physical machine to their virtual machine. And I can see that this user is logged on a different physical machine, so I could jump to that machine here. I can see all the processes that are taking the most amount of resources being highlighted. And I can also tell that overall, if I don't see a single process, iExplorer is taking 46%, or about 61% total. This user may need more compute. It's got 2 cores, 1 socket. Memory-wise, there's only 234 mega RAM free. Overall, this user, this NAP server needs more than 4 gig of RAM, clearly. I can also see on the actual network connection, there's a lot of gateway latency there going on. And if I come up to the DVR, this is where the DVR gets interesting because there's some good information to see potentially here. So we turn off that, and now we've got a calendar I can look at. Now, I installed the agent today, but there was all kinds of violations to the policy. And I can see these are color coded. I can see there's RAM incidents, there's CPU incidents, there's process incidents. So if I click on this day, I can see we've had these issues at these times. And now we get our YouTube style bar. And it's starting to buffer right now. So I can go ahead and drop this in anywhere because it's pretty much violated across the board. We can speed it up and hit play. It's going to start buffering as well. In the same exact view I was looking at in real time, that was a 3-second collection. I'm now looking at a 10-second collection, but in history mode. So I can see when somebody complained last week at 10 o'clock on a Thursday, I can see exactly what was going on. Were they just maxing out their machine? So if they keep on having tickets that they keep on running out of memory, overall, we know we need to give this user more memory. Or if it's a particular misbehaving application that keeps on coming up, that I keep on, say, terminating iExplorer. In this environment, I go ahead and kill iExplorer. Obviously, I can't do it in the past. I could do it if I go back to real time. So we let you troubleshoot it. We also let you troubleshoot it in a full task manager type view as well, to where I could sort this. So this is task manager history in a web browser, and I could sort it by CPU consumption right in this view and watch it play back in this view as well. And processes are also highlighted here that violate. I could search for a particular user to filter down. So now this is a multi-user system looking at mostly user, and let's do user 9. Filter that all the way down. So now I'm just looking at user 9. What did user 9 have a problem with on this machine? Looks like not much. They were okay. I might look at the actual user that had the issue that called in. So we can turn off that view there, and we actually can switch over. So as I'm going back to my laptop, I actually can switch tenants. So I can be part of multiple tenants. We got multiple email domains here. So I could go to Liquidware Labs, and I could go to machines. And this is more of a demo environment here. In this environment, and we can sort by, what's being seen. And here's a machine that's being seen, so I can switch over. I can switch any machine in the environment, and I can start looking at performance metrics, troubleshooting, seeing what kind of performance this user is getting that's connected in Liquidware Labs. Now, to switch back, I want to show something else with the scripting here. Go back to my machine, and we go to the scripting store. So the scripting store is a built-in, because it's a SaaS solution, we can vet and publish scripts, to the store that are already vetted. We know they're not a malicious intent, anything like that. You as a customer can write your own scripts and upload them to the environment as well. Your reseller partner could upload scripts as well. Eventually, we'll have a community where scripts can be posted, but we have to be very careful with that, make sure there's no malicious intent. So with this script, I get my documentation, very basic script here. To get my source, very basic message that just sends a message to the desktop. Permissions, I can assign this script, to a different level of admins. I can take scripts away or not assign them at all. And then we get a change log with said script. So in this scenario, I can go ahead and run this script, and we're going to select, which user. I might select myself. And let's see if I show up here with my other machine. Actually, I switched to the wrong tenant. So let's do that again. And that's how quick I can get right back into where I need to be. Let me grab my machine name here real quick. And we'll double check that the agent is still connected and happy. And this is why we're doing a beta cycle here, because I'm guessing that the agent might have stopped, and I think it did. So we'll just go ahead and do a script anyway. Can't see the message, of course, because I can't send it to my machine. see if it shows up. Probably won't show on my screen, but. So we're gonna do a message and we're gonna send test, because this is gonna use a PowerShell script that was created. The product can't actually send a message, but at least it's able to be wide open of a platform to where you can upload your own scripts and create your own features and functions that we can't do in the interface. So this is queued or created. It would show more status. And to show more status on that, I'm going to go ahead and go to machines. Let's find another machine that's more active than that. This guy, and let's find another machine here real quick. We'll use this one. Now we'll send it to 2 machines. Using login VSI to send load testing in the background for good data. So there's 2 launcher machines. Send a couple of messages too. Well, oh, there's the screen I was looking for, I think. Yes, so there was the detail that you wanted to see on what was sent to where, to which machines. So you can see the target machines it was sent to, the messages that were sent. I was sending messages to my son on his machine. He thought he was being hacked. And so you can see the status of each of those on the screen. Not quite where I want it to be, that's why it's beta, and we're kind of moving in that direction. Moving down the list of features and functionality here, we will go over to our services. So I can stop, start, disable, and delete any service as well. If we see that a process is connected to a service, I can manage the services totally. You can also take away the delete function from other administrators if you don't want that power. That can be pretty dangerous. It's not as easy to delete services in Windows as a click button like here. Performance gives you that other task manager type of view, maybe without the dashboard, so you can watch the performance of a particular machine. And then diagnostics, we can come in and we can do a speed test against these machines. So we can see, okay, how's the performance? What does it look like on that machine in that area? Looks like that agent's disconnected too. Let me find another machine really quick. That one looks happier. Run a speed test, and while speed test is running, we can also do a ping. So we get pretty good connection. So this user should be pretty happy where that machine is located, upload and download. And we get a ping. We can also do a trace route, typical network tools that you'd want to have to troubleshoot user experience. We could do an IP config and see what that looks like from the network perspective, you know, what kind of domain names they're getting on that side. And we also have a group policy. We basically run GP result. We can run that and it'll run it for the computer and I can actually download it in the interface. So it'll create the file and then it'll transfer it over. So we can see our ping result, we can see our trace route, we can go ahead and download this report. And there's our group policy report from that machine. Without ever touching the machine, without ever going to it, no command prompts, all web-based in that scenario. All right, so we'll keep it moving down here. We got some startup tasks that show you how long it takes to log in and certain applications that are starting up. We will allow to be able to disable those soon, hopefully as well. We talked about diagnostics. We can see our machines. We can unlicense machines. We can block machines. So I could take a machine here and I can decide I want to block it. I'm going to uninstall the agent, or I can block it temporarily. I can block an entire IP address range. We can block and uninstall immediately. So we have full management of the agent to remove it and add it to the system. Under the tenant side, you can see who's the owner of the tenant, how many licenses do you have. This product will be a multiple payment option. So, net 30 for the enterprise customers, credit card and ACH for SME customers as well. So you'll be able to fully manage your monthly or yearly subscription options with the solution. Users, we can invite users to the tenant. We can see who's invited, who has not accepted for the tenant. We could resend or remove their invite. We can also go into roles, and we can manage and create a plethora of roles. There is quite a few different roles that we can set. Like I said, everything in the interface can be restricted down or removed for other administrators. And then we have sites, and in our scripting library, we default to self-signed scripts. The signature has to be valid and self-signed. You can override that and use a SHA instead. And then we have API keys in case you want to tap into the full API of the platform. Installing the agent is pretty quick and easy. It's just a matter of copy and paste a PowerShell command prompt. MSI is coming here shortly. And then the last thing I will mention of what's coming here shortly is full automatic remediation based on scripting. We'll have our own detection rules, but you could also create your own detection rules with PowerShell and execute your own remediation scripts for automatic remediation. That'll come by December. And then Q1 sometime we'll also have ICA, HDX, metrics, feeding in real time and history. Those will be added to the solution as well. So that is the demo. It's about half past, so we could switch over to questions as well and see how many questions we've got to answer.
Currently, there is no answer. No question, sorry.
No questions.
Not for now, no. No one asked any question.
That's how good of a job you did on the demo.
Well, I guess it'd be interesting. I think we have a poll question available.
No, I don't have a poll actually, but I can create one. What would you like to know?
Well, I guess in the set of features that we're seeing, what would be the most valuable feature, whether it's a DVR, real-time scripting, kind of as an option, which of those features would be most valuable?
All right, while I work on that, I do see other questions coming in. Arnaud, if you want to look at those, and we'll get a poll going.
Yeah, sure. So the first one is, how do you put items into inventory? What are the options?
So I guess inventory could be viewed a few different ways. I would view inventory under machines, and machines show up when the agent is installed. And this, there's an API key and a tenant ID as part of your installation, whether it's the PowerShell command or the MSI. So the tenant ID and the API key is what dictates which tenant the machine belongs to in inventory.
Okay, thank you. And another one, what are the main differences between this solution and ControlOps product?
Yeah, so I think if you're comparing to the on-prem solution for ControlUp being Win32 and inside the data center, this is our SaaS solution. Also, the agent for our solution does not run PowerShell unless you ask it to via scripting or PowerShell command prompt. Our agent does not run PowerShell as a primary purpose, or does it leverage any WMI whatsoever. Querying WMI every 3 seconds would really crank up CPU, and even querying every 10 seconds, it really increases CPU. Plus, I would say we have quite a bit of history built in, even though Stratosphere is our data warehousing solution. Our DVR solution is pretty powerful, but we can execute scripts across all machines. In the event that you saw a service that was going haywire on your ZenApp farm, you could definitely shut that service off pretty quickly with a one-line script. So similar to that. So we have a lot of similarities, but there's also some pretty big stark differences when it comes to how the solution is built cloud first.
Okay. And I have other What are the types of remote control that CommandCTRL supports?
Yeah, so when it comes to the types, we have a teleconference feature built in. That's our own. So we're not leveraging any of your purchased version of that. That might be something we add later based on request, but it's our own teleconference feature built in. It's using remote assist, which is the older point-to-point remote assist function. We automate enabling that whole functionality automatically. And then quick assist, which is part of Windows 10 and Windows 11 and multi-user Win 10. The quick assist is nice because the administrator and the end user don't have to be on the same network. They can be over the internet. No firewall ports, no direct routable network, anything like that. Quick Assist does require the admin be on Windows as well, Windows 10 or Windows 11 or Windows 11 multi-user, but we've automated those things end to end. And then Remote Assist requires that same routable network, Windows to Windows, and teleconference. You could be on a Mac as an administrator and view the user's screen if you had to.
Okay, another one. Is this compatible with Citrix, VMware, and AVD?
Yes, it's compatible with any Windows desktop, regardless of the broker, protocol, or physical location. It's Windows anywhere. We support it.
Okay. And another one, can you turn location sharing off?
Yeah, so you can restrict location sharing so that it's not visible to certain people in the environment. You could say for everybody by default. That would just turn off the visibility to the location ISP in city, state, country. Yes.
Okay, and another one. Are there links to similar data reports in Stratosphere UX that go more in depth?
Yeah, there's no direct integration between Stratosphere and CommandCTRL at this point. That'll come in the future. There likely will be some ability to be in Stratosphere and click view real time, and then the real-time interface of Stratosphere will tap into the API of the SaaS solution of CommandCTRL and start viewing that real-time data. We do see that happening next year, hopefully sometime. And then some more integrations based on request.
Okay, another one here. Would you say there is any meaningful sacrifice in system access or meeting performance goals for admins who WFA versus on-site when using the CommandCTRL solution?
So I didn't quite get all of that. Could you repeat that again?
Yes. Would you say that there is any meaningful sacrifice in system access or meeting performance goals for admin who WFA versus on-site when using the CommandCTRL solution?
So I don't think there's any sacrifice. I think if there's concern about levels of access, you could remove the PowerShell command prompt, for example, based on a role. You could then only allow level 1, level 2 administrators to execute certain scripts. The platform does have multi-factor authentication built in as well. So nobody can just walk up to the machine and start using the solution against the entire fleet of machines or physical, virtual, or cloud. So there is a 2-factor authentication that is enforced and required. You cannot use a solution without it.
I have that poll ready, so I'll go ahead and launch it. I know, Arno, there's another question in there, but while you're asking that and addressing it, I'll go ahead and launch the poll.
Okay, yeah, I have for now I have 2 questions. So the first one is, how do we identify audio or video issues in VDI while accessing Teams inside VDI?
Yeah, so we're not focused into the Teams level, but we will have the protocol metrics at the basic level. The Stratosphere has the very in-depth protocol metrics, but we will have the send receive, we will have the frames per second equivalent and latency. So those things I think we view as kind of enough for that level 1 and level 2. People will add more metrics to the HDX collection as customers request them. Stratosphere collects all of them from an HDX point of view. But neither product goes in all the way down to the actual Teams application itself just yet. that is a roadmap item for Stratosphere to dig into the Teams executable and local APIs to pull some of that information out.
Yeah, I think so. The question from the previous question, I mean, when you were talking, okay, so I just said thank you. I think you reply to the question as I expect.
Sure.
All right, there's your poll results. Looks like 80% real time and 20% scripting.
Okay, fantastic. It's great feedback. Hopefully everybody can go to liquidware.com and sign up for the beta. It'll be available next week as it launches on Wednesday next week, so a week from today. We're excited for that especially, and then we'd love more interactive feedback as you use the product in your lab environments.
And I just put a link in the chat to that sign up page.
Okay, perfect.
All right, any more questions from anyone? Looks like people saying thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, okay, so I also have a link for you guys. It's just a short survey. I'm gonna throw that in the chat. It's anonymous and for CUGC use only, but we do like to get your feedback, so that's out there as well. And if there aren't any more questions, I will grab the screen back. I know some of you may have opted in at registration for a chance to win this really cool Liquidware prize pack for all your festival going needs. So I will pull the attendee report after the webinar and do a random selection and see who wins. And to just be on the lookout for an email from me, or look on Twitter, follow us at myCUGC. I do have, actually, Jason, one more question did come in, if you want to take it real quick.
Okay.
Before we close out.
Sure.
Yes. It's early, of course, but is there any early indication about what the pricing subscription structure may be for command control?
It is early. I think during the beta cycle, we'll be talking about that and kind of polling the customers and getting their temperature on that. I can't comment on potential pricing, but there will be monthly options, and it is licensed per machine. So per machine licensing, and then it is monthly subscription options and yearly subscription options.
Thank you.
It's a good one.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being here today, Jason. Appreciate you showing that off for us.
It's been fun. Happy to do it again as well as we get through the other product upgrades throughout our life cycle here in the next one, and happy to be invited back.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that a follow-up on this is probably due later
Absolutely. On. We're excited to launch this. It's going to launch in Q1, so keep your eye out for it and sign up for the beta if you can. If not, wait for the trial.
All right. All right. Thank you, Arnaud. Thanks for being on to look at the questions for us. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And like I said before, be on the lookout for a link to the recording if you need to go back and revisit anything. We'll have that ready for you tomorrow, and also be on the lookout for an email from me to let you know if you maybe won this really cool prize pack. All right, everyone, have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.